and welcome to another video tutorial. My name is Britta Spiderski and today we're going to be talking about embossing diffusers from Tim Holtz and Sizzix. So I did a card last week that showed off an embossing diffuser and I got lots of interest in that card and tons of people asked how they did it, how it's done, how it works, and if I would do a video showing it. So I thought this would be a great idea to show you how I use the embossing diffusers. So this is how they come. They actually come in one of the packagings that Tim Holtz embossing folders come in. And then there are actually 6 parts. There are 3, card bases about the size of a card. They're about 1/8 of an inch thick. And so you have the circle here, an oval at the top, a horizontal oval, and a vertical oval that's a lot bigger. And then they also come with the cutouts from those plates, which is really great. They could have probably just melted these down and made more plates out of them, but instead they gave them to you, and you can actually use them as a reverse embossing diffuser, so that's pretty cool. So what you do is you just replace one of your plates with an embossing diffuser, and then it doesn't press down in that area. So I'm going to start off with a piece of Nina White cardstock and this embossing folder from Lifestyle Crafts. It's from the Zigzag collection, and it's this really cute kind of herringbone type pattern. And so all you do is slip your piece of paper in your embossing folder like you normally would. This piece of paper is 5 1/4 by 4 inches wide, so it's going to fit on a standard size card very well. Then I'm going to use this, this oval one, I think, and just line it up. You can kind of eyeball it if you're really set on it being straight, which I tend to be a little OCD. So I'm going to use some washi tape to help hold it down, hold everything in place. And note that I'm just taping it to my regular platform. So instead of making a sandwich like I normally would with an embossing plate, I'm going to just take off the top plate. Now this acts as my plate. And then I'm just going to fold these tab 1 down, just as I would with a normal embossing folder. Actually, I'm going to fold the second tab down. I don't want to go crazy with this impression. So if you want to keep one tab down, that's great. You'll just have a deeper impression. This one I want to be a little bit more subtle since we're going to be inking over it anyways. And then all you do is run it through. So you have your sandwich, you have top plate, which is your diffuser, your embossing folder with your paper inside, and then your other clear plate on top of your platform. So just roll it through. And then when you take it out, you'll see that it didn't emboss where the oval is. It's really kind of magical. Every time I do it, I'm kind of surprised that it works. Because for some reason I think that this will push hard enough to impress upon this, but it's not, and it's great. So I'm also going to do a second one with this embossing folder. This is Cuttlebug Polka Dots, and it's a 5 by 7 embossing folder, which I really enjoy because this one you can emboss a whole card front. I mean, I'm still doing the same size as I was before, but you could emboss a full card front. And then instead for this one, I'm just going to place this circle right on top of it, and that will be what embosses. So you have to think in kind of the reverse. The shape that you put on is what will emboss. The shape that you don't put on is what will be blank. And so I'm just taping this on with some washi tape, and then I can roll it right through. Even though it's a circle, you might actually have to hold it down with your fingers a little bit because obviously a circle going into a straight piece isn't going to be as forgiving. There you go. It might have slid a little bit, but we can always cut it down. And then you'll see here that you have this really funky dotted piece that almost kind of has a gradient around the outside, so we can do something really cool with that. So now that I have my piece embossed here, I'm going to work on the background, and I wanted to show you some inking. I haven't done distress ink on a video for what feels like ever. So I wanted to just refresh you. If you're a new viewer, you can go and watch my Distress Ink series, No Stress Distress Inks, which you can click on the screen right now to go see. It's a really great series where it goes over basically every basic technique that you can do with distress inks. And the word on the street is that there may be another No Stress Distress Inks coming up soon. But you'll have to stay tuned for that. So what I'm actually going to do is use this picture that I took as inspiration, and I'll have this on my blog post as well. It's a coffee mug at Starbucks, and I really liked the gradation from orange up to that really light yellow. So I'm just going to simplify that down. This uses 5 colors and some what would be masking, but I'm just going to do some simple blending in Spiced Marmalade, Wild Honey, and Squeezed Lemonade. I'm going to start with the Squeezed Lemonade at the top and just move all the way down onto the card. So pretty much going all the way to the bottom, just making sure that the color is really potent at the top, because we're not going to be coloring over any more colors on the top part. And notice that I start on my craft sheet and work on to my project in a circular motion, and this keeps any really blotchiness or edges from showing up on your card. This is an ink blending tool with an ink blending foam, also available from Ranger, and you'll be able to see all of these products linked in the description below this video and on my blog post, also linked in this video over on YouTube. So then I'm going to go in with my Spiced Marmalade from the bottom, and you could go from lightest to darkest. You could start with darkest and work lightest, but I'm just gonna do this way and do lightest and then darkest, and then really help blend them with the Wild Honey and really focus your color on the bottom, because this will be our very fiery orange. There we have our Spiced Marmalade at the bottom. And to be honest, if you only had 2 colors, these 2 colors blend pretty well together just by themselves. So you hardly need the Wild Honey, but I'm just going to add it in here, and it will add even more dimension to your finished project. And it's just amazing to watch this come alive. Every single time I do blending with Distress Ink, I'm just so happy. So now you see we have our piece blended and it's ready to be put on a card. Now just to note that you will have to let this dry, or at least zap it with a heat gun or let it dry for just an hour or 2 before you can adhere anything onto this. You can stamp on it, you can spritz it with water for a little bit more added texture. I don't think this one needs any more texture because it's quite busy already. But because the inks stay wet and blendable, they're going to be a little bit damp to the touch and aren't going to have any adhesives that stick to them actually. So you could actually put a foam dot, I'll show you, right here, try to stick it down, it comes right off. So just let it dry, don't freak out if that happens, okay? Because there have been a couple times where I was in a hurry and I didn't use the heat gun, and I was like, oh crap, why is this not sticking? So that's why. So I will show you pictures of the finished cards at the end of this video and talk a little bit more about them on my blog post, so make sure to check that out. But I just wanted to do a quick little video tutorial on embossing diffusers, how to use them, and how to create some really great looks with them. So I'm going to get working on the rest of these cards. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you again next time. Thanks for watching.